Yo, what's up everybody? Welcome to the channel. It's T Ultra here, and today I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about collector level and what I'm personally doing, and also how a recent development in the game kind of changed the whole point of this video, kind of changed everything I was going to tell you guys. And before we get into it, just a reminder, try to log in every day. You don't necessarily have to play every day. I don't, but I try to log in because then you get to spin, you get to spin the wheel. And last week I logged in every day and I actually got this Diamond Giannis card. I haven't used him yet, but it's a Giannis card, so it's probably pretty useful for most people. Can't hurt to get that. There's also a lot of other good rewards on there, so if you can, try to log in every day. So we're going to look at the collector level here. I'm currently at 929 cards. I just sold some cards, so I would be a little bit higher, but not by much. But I've kind of been wondering, what do I want to do in terms of collector level? Originally, what I was going to tell you guys is I was going to go for this 1750 right here to get the 300 tokens. So I would get this Eddie Jones, which is kind of an outdated card, but I would really be doing it for the tokens, the 200 there, the 300 there. And then at that point, it's not really worth getting 250 more cards just for MT because you're going to have to spend MT to get there. And then you have to get even more cards to get this outdated Jalen Rose card, as well as this Scottie Pippen. And then once you get here, that's 750 tokens, which is nice. But the difference from 1,750 to 2,500, that's quite a bit. In fact, that's 750 cards that you're going to have to get. And then after that, you have these Galaxy Opal cards. And the reason I originally was going to say not to go for these Galaxy Opal cards, or at least that I wasn't going to do it, was because 2K was not releasing enough content to make it worth trying to get to the end of this collection, because by the time you would have been able to get some of these Galaxy Opals, 2K21 would be pretty much coming out, right? And another thing to think about is if you're not spending a lot of time grinding the game or putting a lot of money into the game, it doesn't really make sense to go for this 2,900 card reward. Even though it's a nice card, it's going to be really hard to get, and you can sell your cards once you get to whatever collector level you're going for. You can sell your cards back, make a bunch of MT, and buy a bunch of good cards. So that's why I was kind of saying, if you were to pick a strategy, I would say either go for 1750, because that's definitely doable. I don't spend any money on the game. I'm already at 929. Plus, there's a lot of cheap cards that I don't have that I could get right now. Or if you're not going to do that, I would say go all the way. Because to me, everything between 1750 and these 3 Galaxy Opals is kind of worthless. So if you're going to go over 1750, it's not worth it, in my opinion, unless you get all the way to at least this 2650 card where you get Sabonis. And at that point, you're obviously going to try to get the other 2 Galaxy Opals. Because like I said, the tokens would be nice, but you have to get so many more cards over 1750 to get those tokens. And on the way, you're just getting 100k and 2 outdated cards. And also, just to add here, I think 1750 is a good goal for most people because, you can get to 750 cards pretty easily, and you get this Isaiah Thomas card, and then after that you get this Eddie Jones, and those cards aren't that great. This Isaiah Thomas evolves to a Galaxy Opal, but he's pretty outdated. He's good on offense from what I hear. I have him, but I haven't really used him. But he's good on offense, but he's so short, and he has not really good defense. He doesn't have very good badges. So if you're going to get this far, it's not really worth it, but it's not that hard to get to this level if you just play the game a decent amount. And then once you get to 1250, you get 200 tokens, which is nice. And at that point, I think you could sell back once you get to there, but at that point, you might as well go for 1750, especially with the new content that 2K just dropped, which I'm going to show you now. So if you look at your collections here, you will see that they have the current NBA collection. These are all the players that are currently in the game. And this is an example of how I said I can easily up my collector level from where it is by buying some of these cheap cards. This is a silver, and that's pretty cheap. It's like a couple thousand, a couple thousand right there. And there's some cards that I don't have that I'm sure you can get for even cheaper, like 700. Like I could buy that. The reason I haven't yet is because I could still pull them from packs and just not have to pay for it. And until I'm like really close to achieving the ultimate collector level that I want, I'm not really going to spend MT unless I need to. But if you look below this current collection, you'll see that they just added this. There's currently no cards in the collection, but I've looked online, and I've seen a couple other people talk about this, and I agree with them. I think this is basically just going to be, I mean, it's called the 20 current NBA Series 2. So it's basically the current rosters, just the second version of it. And the trade deadline in the NBA just passed. So, I mean, it's not, groundbreaking for me to say this, but I think this is just going to be updated rosters. Nobody knows if it's going to be every player, but I think that's a reasonable expectation. And if they add the full rosters of every team, if they add 15 players per team, there's 30 teams, that's 450 new cards in the game. That's pretty huge. And, I think it'll be at least 400, 450 if they add at least most of the players that are currently on NBA rosters. And what that does is that makes it so much more helpful in trying to get these higher collector levels, whether you do want to go for these 300 tokens or if you want to go all the way, or whatever you want to do. This is just my idea. I would say 1750 or all the way. That's just my opinion. I was going to tell you guys that I personally was going to go for 1750 to get the tokens and then sell back, because like I said, the way the content was being dropped, we would not get enough cards in the game to get this Anthony Davis until the game was pretty much obsolete and 2K21 was out. That being said, I would still need to have every single card in the game once there are enough cards in the game. You know what I mean? Once there's enough cards in the game, I still have to attain all of them, which that's a tough task. But now that they're dropping potentially, now this isn't guaranteed, but if this truly is just updated rosters, that's so many more cards in the game. That's 400 cards. Like, that's going to make it so much easier to finish these collector levels, whatever you're going for. I think right now I know Jalen Rose is available. I think Scottie Pippen is also available. So they're probably close to these tokens right here, which means they're probably pretty close to Sabonis. Like, I think this kind of just changed the game in terms of collector level. There really was no incentive to go for it because so many of these cards were outdated. The token market's been dry, and these cards that actually seem really good were out of reach. But now that they dropped this content, I think if you want to go for it, go for it. If not, you can still get to a certain point and then sell back. And yeah, so I honestly originally was going to say that I personally was just going to go for 1,750. So I was starting to sell some of my more expensive cards. I just finished the Dwight Howard Spotlight Challenge. So I sold some of those cards that have value, like this Chris Paul and James Harden, just to get some MT so I can finish the other sets. And I'm still going to do that because what I was going to say was that I'm going to sell these cards. And if I decided to go for collector level, like to go all the way later in the year, that hopefully I'd be able to buy these cards back for cheaper than I sold them for. Now that I know that I'm probably more likely to go for those Galaxy Opals at the end, I'm less likely to sell my cards, but it's still not a bad idea to sell them now and maybe buy them back cheaper later, especially if you're trying to finish some of those Spotlight series. Like, I don't have many of them done. I only have a couple of them done, mostly because I haven't had enough MT, but this is a good way to kind of get caught up on that. Plus, you get cards from doing that. So, it's kind of just, in my opinion, if you have a card that you don't use that's going for a lot of MT, sell it. Hopefully it drops in price eventually and you can buy it back later. If not, then maybe at the end of the year, you have to spend a little more to get to that collector level. But by then, it'll probably be worth it. If you're that close to getting some of those Galaxy Opal rewards, you'll find a way to make it work. But yeah, now that we're here, I've actually been waiting to redeem these just so I can see that MT rack up. So we're at 39K. So we're going to start with Steve Blake. Ooh, watch it rack up. I sold this Vince Carter, part of that Dwight Howard set that I already finished. I bought this Al Harrington for cheap, trying to resell it. This Ray Allen is actually going for quite a bit, so if you have that and you don't need it, you don't want to lock in Klay Thompson, he's going for a decent amount right now. I just sold some of these playbooks that I got that were duplicates. I bought this Steven Jackson the other day for $900 and I sold him for $1,500, so just a little bit of MT right there. Some duplicate jerseys, duplicate arenas. Nets playbook I sold for $5,750. If you do get this Nets playbook, most playbooks don't go for a lot, some of them do. The Nets playbook is definitely one of them, so do not quick sell that. Do not put it up for super cheap. I can never seem to sell my diamond contracts. Chris Paul, almost 10K, a couple jerseys. Man, and this is the big one. Here, we'll save that one for last. Sell these cruddy cards. And I sold this Kobe card. the amethyst one from one of the spotlight collections, because this was actually a duplicate. I pulled it while playing Triple Threat, and that was a pretty nice pull. Got me 32,000. And then I'm gonna sell this James Harden quick, and there you have it. I'm currently at 160,000 MT. That's gonna help me finish some of these spotlight series here. Where are they? Sorry, it's hard to talk and do stuff at the same time. So yeah, I'm pretty close to finishing a lot of these, but these two in particular, but I just don't have the MT to get the cards. But I probably have enough MT to do some stuff right now. I can probably hopefully finish at least this Kareem one, so I can get Giannis. That would be epic. He's a really good card, so I really want to focus on getting him. But yeah, guys, I just wanted to kind of let you know that 2K is dropping this new series right here of the current teams. So if you were kind of skeptical about going for collector level, this is really going to help. And then I also want to show you one more thing. I'm sure you've seen this before, but if you are going for collector level and you're getting pretty close to that next tier, this is a great filter to use to kind of push you over the edge to the next tier of collector level. So if you just go to franchise and go to jerseys right here, home jerseys, what you can do is you can set this filter to minimum buyout 250, and then let's just say 300, and then you want to put this to enabled so that it doesn't show you jerseys you already have. It's going to show you a bunch of cheap jerseys that are up right now. There's none up for 300. Ooh, what in the world? Is that glitched? Alright, so there's only a couple up for 400. Usually there's some for 350, sometimes even 300, sometimes 250, in which case I would buy them. So I'm just going to buy these to show you. I mean, it's just a cheap way to get cards. These do count towards your collector level. Shoes do not. And then you can do this for away jerseys. Like there's this one for 350, 400. So we just added 4 cards to the collection. And that's what I meant when I said there's a lot of cards that I can attain right now for cheap. You can do it with these arenas too. I mean, look how many there are going for 400 or less. This one's going for 300. This one's going for 250. We'll buy that one. The reason I haven't just gone through and done this a lot is because I'm still working at collector level, and I'm still waiting to see if I can pull a few more of these from packs, but I will go in here, and if they are cheap enough, like 300 or under, I'll typically buy a couple just to add to the collector level. I mean, look at all these playbooks going for like nothing, so you can definitely up your collector level if you are stuck and you can't find some players to add. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. I just want to let you guys know what I'm personally doing for collector level. Like I said, I'm going to kind of play it out. If it turns out that it's getting later in the year and I don't think I can get to this tier, I'll probably call it quits at this 1750. But if I get like past this 1750 before I decide to sell back, at that point I'm probably just going to go all in. I'm going to try to get as many cards as I can and hope for the best. It's going to be a grind, honestly, but if you can get these cards, I think it will be worth it. I mean, I don't know what kind of badges they have. Hopefully they're not as outdated as the Scottie Pippen and Jalen Rose and all the other cards that are available for rewards, but I'm assuming that they'll be good, so might as well go for it. But I totally understand, you know, if you don't want to and you just want to sell your cards, make a bunch of MT, and just, you know, buy cards on the auction house that come out, that's another great strategy, because that's honestly a safer route, because then you're guaranteed to have MT that you can use right away. You're not hoarding MT in the form of cards in your collection that you're not using. You know what I mean? And also, with the All-Star break coming up, 2K usually drops a lot of content then as well. That might make some of the other cards that are on the auction house right now, might make them a little cheaper, might cause a little market crash. It's hard to say. I'm really bad at predicting that kind of stuff. But there's going to be a lot more cards in the market probably with the addition of this Series 2 current NBA collection, as well as some All-Star Week content that 2K usually drops. So just kind of play it by ear. Don't be afraid to sell your cards back if you think that you have had enough of this collector level and you don't think it's worth it anymore. But if you want to go for it all the way, this Anthony Davis card can be yours. Alright, that's it for the video, everyone. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Please leave a like if this helped. Please subscribe if you want to see more content. I appreciate you all. Thank you very much. Have a good day and peace out.